getting started on both, and I believe I'm okay. I'm up and running. All right. So, good morning and happy Wednesday. I am streaming across multiple platforms right now. We are, not I am. We are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn, and we are on YouTube. So we will have people kind of jumping in from all the different platforms, and I'm very, very excited to be able to do that. I am, if you are here to talk about leadership visibility, then you are in the right place. Go ahead, if you're here live or you're watching the replay, go ahead and tap the like button if that's exactly why you are joining us today. And as you do that, let me introduce myself. So my name is 𝗁𝗲𝗺𝗲𝗺. I am a leadership career expert as well as an executive coach, and I am 100% committed to increasing the number of female leaders and people of color leaders who are in the corporate space. I specifically want to diversify the executive suite so that we have a representation of people who look like us making decisions and having influence and being in positions of power so that we can change the workspace, not just for today, but for tomorrow, for our future generations as well. So that's kind of what my mission is. And I do that primarily by helping people get into the executive suite, helping them be better leaders and helping them increase their leadership capabilities, as well as being able to move up into more senior leadership roles. So that's what I do. I want to hear where you're from and what you do. So go ahead and drop it in the chat where you're dialing in from, and letting me know if this is your first time actually here or if you are a Wednesday regular. So couple of housekeeping things before we dive into today's topic about leadership visibility. The first is, as you can probably tell, this is a new time. I've been going live on Wednesdays at 12 noon for the past 4 or 5 months. Starting in April, I am starting to go live at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesdays, and that's because of you. Like, you guys made it very clear that it was more difficult to be live with me in the middle of the day. And so I decided to make it first thing in the morning so more of us could be here together, right, and be live. So that's the first thing. So going forward, this is the time, 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday mornings. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is, and I would usually wait to the end, but I wanted to make sure that I did not forget to highlight this, is that I have a new leadership program specifically on leadership visibility. Because it is exactly what I wish I would have had, frankly, at the juncture in my career where I was trying to organization. So, because many leadership programs, definitely not formal leadership programs, don't talk about the importance of leadership visibility, and because so many of my clients I found were dealing with issues related to leadership visibility, I decided that, hey, why not put this in a program and offer it to the women and people of color who really, really need it? And so that's what I'm doing. It's a 12-day, both visibility, but then also taking the actual steps while you're in the program and while you have me as your coach to become more visible. And so every day there's a small lesson to learn, and then you get to go execute, and then you get to bring it back to the group to actually talk about what the experience was like and what you were able to achieve. If you are someone who is looking to influence your stakeholders, who is looking to get promoted, who is looking to move your career forward, to have more of an impact, then you definitely need to work on your visibility. And so that's what we will talk about today in terms of what visibility actually is for those of us who are kind of new to the term and why it's important. If you see the link in the chat, so the link is up on the screen, and if you are interested in learning more about the program, go ahead and check that out. Okay. All right. Let's talk about leadership. If you're anything like me, and I can start with the story of actually when I became aware, frankly, of the importance of leadership visibility. Now, the honest truth is, there were signs all along in my career that visibility was important, right? I just was ignoring those signs and didn't really internalize them and recognize that maybe I needed to do something a little bit different until maybe about 15-ish years ago. And so the truth is, I'm an introvert. So if you've been following me for a while, you already know, like, I am way on the I side of things, right? I'm that person who loves my own company more than anybody else's company in the entire world. I'm the person who would rather be sitting by herself on the beach reading a book than playing and interacting with everybody else, playing volleyball, taking a walk. Like, I'm inside of myself most of the time. But if you have any type of introverted tendencies, or maybe you just are the type of person who likes to go to work, get her work done, go home, or whatever, you might be that type of person too, and still be an extrovert. But if you're anything like that, then you can relate to the fact that for me, for maybe the first 10-ish, 12-ish years of my career, I didn't want to be bothered with anybody. Like, I literally wanted to go into the office, and I prided myself. As being a very good worker. I was committed to whatever organization I was working with, and at the time, I think that was Citibank. But any organization that I have ever worked for, I am like all in. I am loyal, right? And so I always wanted to do and want to do my best work. And I've always been known across, in the organizations that I've worked for, and definitely for my bosses, I've always been known as a hard worker. I'm the person who gets things done. I'm the person that they can rely on. And when I manage my teams the same way. Like, I want my teams to know that I'm always there for them, even if I am introverted. Like, if they need me, when they need me, I show up and I'm there for them. And so the thing is that I'm so much of an introvert that was my preferred mode of operating. Like, I would just come into the office, do my work, chit chat a little bit with people, but I'm not a social creature normally, right? That's not my thing. And then I would just go home. And so I was getting, exceed expectations on my reviews. People would ask me to do more, because they liked my work and they knew it was going to be high quality. I would, get compliments from my people who work for me, from my boss, if I was on any type of projects. Like, my work was A quality. It always is. And for me, I thought that was enough. Like, I thought that was going to be what propelled me to, move from manager to leader and from leader to senior leader. And it turned out not to be the case. But it was a hard lesson for me to learn. And the reason why is, one day when I was actually working at T. Rowe Price, and I remember at the time, my boss, I was probably like I was 3 or 4 layers down from the chief role, right? And I was in HR, so it was the Chief Human Resources Officer. And my boss, there was a day that my boss was not available, and her boss was not available. And the Crow had a question about a program that my department was responsible for. And I had been working there maybe 18 months. And I know she knew my name, but we never had engaged in any type of conversation or any like deep interaction or anything like that. So she knew who I was, but not necessarily. We didn't have a relationship. But on that specific day, information, because she was asked a question by the CEO. So she calls me, and the people in between us were not available. So she didn't have a choice. She calls me up, and she's like, hey, this is, let's say her name is Sue. Hey, this is Sue. I have a question about blah, blah, blah. Now, y'all, this woman is like up here, right? She calls me and I saw the ID come across my phone. A part of me actually thought about not answering. Right? I was like, let it go to voicemail just in case. I don't know what she wants, but that's how nervous I was at the time. But I answered the call, and she says, that this is what I need, blah, blah, blah. I was frozen. Like, I was so intimidated at this point. And I'm like, okay, Nicole, you have to say something. Think about what you have to say. I was sweating. And so I eventually responded to her question. And she had she was not, she was unfamiliar with the topic, right? But she now had to go relay information to the CEO. So, which means that I had to take the time to kind of break down and give her specific talking points so that she looked like she knew what the hell she was talking about when she went to go talk to the CEO. So I did it. And that was my first interaction with her. A day later, she calls me back and she was so grateful for not what I did, because what I did is part of my job. Somebody calls you and asks you a question, you answer the question, right? But for her, what she said she really appreciated was the way that, two things, the way that I broke it down in something complex in a very simple way so that she could understand it. And two, and she literally said this, that I didn't make her feel stupid, right? That I understood that this was not her area of expertise, and I did not in any type of way make her feel like she wasn't an expert in her own right in another field. That's when the light bulb went off for me, right? Like, so I was grateful for the feedback. And again, when your boss's boss calls you and gives you feedback, I'm like, okay, that's important. And then number two, the light bulb for me was, this woman now knows who the hell I am. Like, not just knows my name and knows I work for her in some capacity on this team, but now she knows what I do. And there's an inkling here that she knows that I'm good at what I do. How can I leverage this? That's what went through my mind, right? That was the time, that was the period, that was the exact moment where I was like, maybe just working hard and being good at what I do isn't enough. Like, maybe I need to be leveraging the fact that I'm good at what I do in a different way if I really want to move up. Because I'm not going to lie, I already knew at that time that I wanted to move up into an executive role. I had no idea how I was going to get there, but I knew I wanted to move up. And now that I had this connection to the crow, or at least was on her radar, I was like, I got to start using this sucker in some shape, form, or fashion. That was the first time that I actually internalized visibility is important. Okay, so to relate to that, then let's talk about some of the myths of visibility. And by the way, if you have questions on this topic today or any day, let me know. You can drop them in the chat now, or frankly, if after this you think about it and you have questions, I'm a person who I always have an open door policy. My team knows that, but then also for you guys who are not part of my team or don't work directly for me, I have an open DM policy. So if you have a question, drop it in the DMs. If I can answer it, I'm going to answer it for you. If I can't answer it or if it's too long, I'm going to say, let's jump on the call. So either way, I'm here. Ask your questions. Okay, so let's talk about some of the myths around visibility, what leadership visibility is and what it is not. So many people hear the term leadership visibility and they interpret it literally. They think about, visibility means I have to be seen. And I see people have to actually see me. And in this day and age, when we're in a time of highly, a lot of people working remotely or people in a hybrid situation, people get really concerned about that. Okay, now this means if I have to be visible, this means I have to go into the workplace or the workspace. And that's not true. Visibility is not necessarily physically seen. That can be a component of it, but it's not everything. Visibility, the best, and I looked up formal definitions of leadership visibility. I don't like any of them, so I'm going to give you. I'm going to do it in two ways and explain what visibility is in two ways. I'm going to give you a definition, but then I'm going to give you some analogies, which I think will resonate with you. So, leadership visibility is about positioning yourself in a way that people associate when they hear your name, see your face, hear your voice, they associate you with certain things, all positive things, by the way. That's what we really want. So, for example, when my former co, once I had that interaction with her, when she heard my name after that, she associated me with being an expert on the topic that she called me about. Being an expert on the topic she called me about, being a person who has the ability to make other people feel smart, even when they don't know anything about a topic. And then third, being a person who is able to break down complex ideas and concepts very simply. I was known for that after that. Like, she thought of me in that way, which are all positive things, right? Leadership visibility is when your name, who you are, is associated. When you're not even in the room, people associate you with these things, right? You have made yourself, you have put yourself in a position where you've interacted with people to a point where they think of you and they think of these things at the same time. That's what I would say leadership visibility is. Now, the analogy, because I was trying to think about what's the analogy I can use to kind of illustrate this. So I came up with two, and I'm always working on my analogy. So let me know if this resonates with you. The first analogy I came up with is when you go grocery shopping. So if you are the person in your household who takes care of going grocery shopping, give me a love sign or drop it in the chat, right? Because I'm that person, and I love it and I hate it at the same time. But if you are responsible for grocery shopping, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay, so when you go grocery shopping, you enter a grocery store, and when you enter a grocery store, you always know that there are things that are strategically placed at the entrance of the grocery store. And the things that are strategically placed at the end, there's all these displays, right? You come in, right? And your eyes are immediately drawn to the displays. Let's say in this case, the display is one of my favorite things in the whole entire world, which is honey-made, what do they call? Honey-made crackers. So you go in, so I come into the store, there's all this, groceries everywhere, whatever, lots of fresh fruit, and my eye goes straight to the honey-made crackers. Honey-made crackers is my favorite snack, okay? But I didn't come to the store for honey-made crackers. I have a whole grocery list, and honey-made crackers is not on there because I know that I cannot eat one, I'm gonna eat 50. So I'm not trying to buy honey-made crackers. But because it is there, right in my line of sight, I automatically get a craving for honey-made crackers, right? I know that's not on my list, but I want it. And I want it not just because it's there, I can see it, but because it's there and it triggers all these other things for me. Like seeing it triggers the taste. They're sweet and they're like crunchy. I love them. And it triggers how it makes me feel. Like I always feel like warm and cozy after I eat it, particularly if I have it with some tea or something like that. So seeing it triggers all these other reactions. That's the same for leader visibility, where your name or your face triggers something. It's associated with something for everyone. Everyone else associates you with all these things, and it triggers it within them, right? That's the first analogy. Okay. If you don't like that analogy, let me do a second one. The second analogy I thought of was, and I just happened to this morning when I was working out, I was listening to a podcast, and I was like, this is the perfect example of leadership visibility. If you as a listener, you have your favorite podcast, and you probably have 2 or 3 that you always listen to. You don't miss an episode, and if you miss an episode, you binge listen to the episodes when you get the time. And it's the voice of the person, what they stand for. Like, you feel like this is your BFF because because you're listening to their voice and you know what they stand for and you know what their opinions are. And you see their faces all the time from their, either online or right, like, and they mean something to you. Even though this person don't know you from Adam, they mean something to you because you have a connection with them. You associate them with something that's important to you. That's another perfect example of leadership visibility. So again, it's not necessarily the physical seeing of them, but it's the knowing of them, right? And seeing them is one aspect of that, but also knowing what you stand for or knowing what they're really good at, knowing some of their opinions, hearing some of the backstory of who they are and how they got to where they are. That encompasses leadership visibility. And how you transition that into the workplace is that when you are a leader, it's interesting. When you start leading a team, it's interesting how before you become a leader, there's a lot of information out there, encouragement about how you can move from being an individual contributor to a leader. But what's not done is, and not talked about as frequently, is how you can move from a leader, whether it's a manager or whether you lead a team, etc. How you can move from that to becoming even better leaders and moving up in leadership. There's not a lot of discussion, open discussion, I should say, about that. It's almost like there's this little secret club of some sort. But leadership visibility is key there because when you move from a more junior leader to a more senior leader, it becomes less about your subject matter expertise, which is what got you to be a leader in the first place. It's less about that and more about the relationships that you have to help you navigate and get the work done. So leadership visibility becomes even more important. Your reputation becomes even more important. Your ability to attract people to not just work for you, but to get things done on your behalf, your peers, your colleagues, people above you, being able to influence. That is all a part of your effectiveness as a leader and your ability to move up or forward in your career. Again, most of us don't talk about this very openly. I don't know why. It's not necessarily a secret, but that is what distinguishes you. So that's what leadership visibility is and why it's important, right? And if I haven't driven it home enough for you guys, what I would say is the outcomes of leadership visibility are all the things you actually need besides your expertise. So when you think about, again, your ability to influence decisions, most of us are in positions where we are leading a team and we get to control over that team, but we don't have control over the larger organization that we're working in. And the only way we can get what we want and need from the larger organization is to be able to influence without having the final decision rights, right? And so being influenced as a leader is key to your success. The other thing I would say is that you get as an outcome of leadership visibility is you get authority. You become the person that people go to on your area of discipline, your knowledge base. Like people are you rather than you having to insert yourself in conversations, people come to you and ask for your opinion. So that level of authority is an outcome of having higher leadership visibility. That with that comes respect, right? People are more proactively respecting who you are and what you're able to contribute. And then the last thing I will say is it opens up opportunities for you. Whereas when people think of you and know who you are, what you stand for on a specific topic, right, and in your area of expertise, then they associate that with you. And when opportunities come up, they come for you versus you having to constantly knock down the door and try to get included or try to get on this project or try to get the promotion. It's already yours once you have that positive leadership visibility know and understand what you stand for. So leadership visibility is truly a differentiator that so many of us mistakenly overlook, and as a result, we get stuck in, at a certain level and we aren't able to push through. And it's because we're so busy working hard in our subject matter area of expertise versus working smart and putting our energies into becoming and being more visible so that people connect us and people pull us in and we attract the opportunities that we want. So that's it. That's leadership visibility, my friends. And that is why it is so important, particularly when you are moving from a manager to a leader role, a leader to a more senior leader within your organization. So, like I said, if you are interested in working on your leadership visibility, then I've got the perfect solution for you, which is my 12-day leadership challenge, leadership visibility challenge that starts on May 1st. You use the link to go and find out more information about it. Or if you have specific questions, DM me. My DMs are always open to you. But I would love to have you as part of the group. It's going to be fire, and I'm so excited about it. It's exactly what I wanted and what I needed, frankly, when I was coming up as a leader within the organization. And frankly, there's nothing out there like it. There's no one is talking about this topic, and no one definitely is not walking up people step by step in how to make that transition. So I look forward to having you join me in that in the challenge. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, I'll see you next Wednesday. Actually, next Wednesday, we are talking about messaging, how to craft your leadership message so that you can start to shape your leadership visibility. And I'll see you then.